Welcome back to the Travel Coach Network podcast. It is I, Sahara Rose DeVore, the founder of the Travel Coach Network and the creator and instructor of the Travel Coach Certification Program. Today's episode is questioning whether travel coaching is MLM or not. And this is something that, this is not an episode that I actually was excited to do just because I feel like it's so unnecessary, but it's a common question that I do get. And I understand because of the state of the industry and online, what's all out there. So let's dive into it a little bit here. First of all, the answer is no. Travel coaching is not MLM. And I guess maybe I should just say within the Travel Coach Network, I don't know what else is out there when it comes to travel coaching. When I started the Travel Coach Network and my own wellness travel coaching business about 4.5, 5 years ago, there was very, very minimal information out there about travel coaching, which is why I decided to take the reins on it and run with it and build the TCN platform. And within that, because it was such a newer space, I was able to define what that meant for my own business, just like I encourage all of you to define whatever it is you do in your business for yourself and your own brand. And as the years go by and the industry grew, there were more and more people talking about travel coaching, which is wonderful. But within that, I would talk to many travel coaches and I would ask them, like, what does a travel coach mean to you? And I would realize that there's a variety of definitions out there. So for some of those, for example, are like travel agents who coach other travel agents. So they would call themselves a travel coach. There are travel coaches who are just travel agents and they only do planning the booking. So the same traditional travel agent, travel advisor role, just calling themselves a travel coach, which is fine. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. It's your business and your brand, and it's more about what you do versus what your title is. But within the Travel Coach Network and me and my own travel coaching business, that's not what a travel coach does or is. Travel coaching isn't about the planning and booking phase. It's about helping people set intentions for their trips. And in another episode, I describe more about travel coaching and what that means. But this episode, I want to talk more about like the MLM or just the state of the travel industry. I can see why people would ask that because I have seen a huge increase in travel agencies who focus less on selling travel and more about team building. So that is where the lines get blurred with MLMs. And that's their focus is to build their team so they can take a piece of the commission based on all the team members underneath them. So like a pyramid. Pyramid scheme is like a very shady word, but like a pyramid. And that's essentially what MLM is. Not saying that all travel agents are like this. And I'm not saying that even if you do that, that's wrong. I don't care what you do, but it's not my business and it's not the Travel Coach Network, and that's not what we do. The Travel Coach Network, on the other hand, is simply a community of travel coaches or travel professionals who incorporate travel coaching into their business and define their own business for themselves. So if you and it's a place where you can learn to become a certified travel coach through the Travel Coach Certification Program. That's basically all. It's me as a mentor, me as a coach, me as your instructor, helping you just like I have built my wellness travel coaching business to the extent that it is now and continues to thrive. That's what the Travel Coach Network is and travel coaching in general. But yes, there are different definitions out there. And then more about like the social media and where I've always had this like issue with this facade that the travel industry says, like, if you are interested in travel, not about travel, but it's about the commissions, the fees. So I've always had this kind of like, and I knew it just wasn't for me. Like the travel agent world wasn't for me. I've heard so many other types of travel agents who would come out of the woodworks and say, like, that's not what I thought I would be doing, or I was tired of the team building. I really wanted to use more of my love for travel, which I completely understand because the industry for so long said that if you have an interest in travel or you have a passion for travel, these are the jobs that you are able to do. Flight attendant, work in a hotel, travel for business for a company, be a travel agent, book travel, be a tour operator, be a travel writer, be now a travel influencer. But for me, I knew that none of those were for me. And I mean, they could have easily been for me. I have a degree in hospitality tourism management. I have background in everything from conventions and meetings and events. And I have experience planning and booking trips. I have traveled to over 84 countries myself solo. I have a travel blog. I wrote a travel book. None of those things I wanted to have as a career. And that's why I became a travel coach. So it's anything is possible depending on what it is you're looking for. I just knew those were not for me. But I knew that the growth of the social media, especially with the travel influencer world, like it puts a bad taste in people's mouth. And also the coaching industry too. So I can understand why people ask this question, like, is travel coaching MLM? Because one, they don't really know what travel coaching is. It's a newer term still. And also they assume that it's still anything applied to travel agent world, or MLMs or anything related to travel agencies. I still see in travel related Facebook groups, especially among women, posts being like, if you want to have freedom and lifestyle and travel part-time or whatever it might be, like, I have the best thing for you. And then, I mean, I have inquired and said like, oh, what is it? Teaching people how to be a travel agent? They'd be like, yep. So that's where like the MLM kind of stigma comes into play. So I have gotten it on my posts before, being like, oh, this is spam. Oh, this is MLM. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm encouraging all of you to think outside the box. If you want to be a travel agent, that's fantastic. People need travel agents. Totally fine. But there's a huge difference between an MLM, an authentic travel agency or a travel agent, travel coaching, and everything. So for all of you, I want you to figure out what it is that you actually want to spend your time doing. If you want to join an MLM, go do it. There's tons in the beauty industry, tons in all these different industries. If that's your thing, fine. But you have to ask yourself what makes you happy doing what you want, and what is it about travel you want to help people with. And so ultimately, the answer is no, travel coaching is not MLM. Hope that answers people's questions. And be sure to join us in our, follow us on Instagram and at the Travel Coach Network, and visit us at thetravelcoachnetwork.com. Send us a hello. We look forward to having you in our Travel Coach Network Facebook open community. You can find the link to that in the show notes. And in the show notes, you can also find download your own free beginner's guide to travel coaching. And they're in the show notes for every episode. And if you know anyone who would be interested in travel coaching, be sure to send them our way in our podcast or our Facebook group. We truly appreciate it. And like always, at the end of every episode, I share a fun fact about myself. And I want you to come into the Travel Coach Network Facebook community and tell me if you can relate or you have a fun fact about yourself. So this fun fact about myself is actually not very fun. It's one of my phobias, and it is called, I believe it's called tryptophobia. And I don't Google it because I don't need to see the photos because I have a phobia of them. But I have heard of several other people who also have the same phobia. And really, I think how it is defined is like a fear of holes, like holes. And I don't even know if that's really what it is. I try not to think about it too much. I can understand why that would be the definition, but I'm not afraid of holes. Like if there's a hole in the ground, I'm not going to like scream and cry about it. It's not bad. It's like really hard to explain. So if you're bored and you want to do something and get the heebie-jeebies, then go and Google tryptophobia and see if it triggers you. And come into the Facebook group and tell me what one of your phobias are. And until next time, my fellow wanderers, bye for now.